All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain drama. We also talk about superstar, inactive statuses, injury updates, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings from promotions like AEW to TNA to WWE to Ring of Honor, also the CMLL to National Wrestling Alliance. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show. So let's go and talk about some AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. It was a pretty good show. I watched it as well. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys if you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling or just something you've been dying to get off your chest. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears. 1,010%. This podcast is all about keeping the conversation lively, making sure that you guys know that your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really, really, really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, just use that super chats, $ below the chat box for whatever you hit, whatever you put in there. It's going guaranteed to be featured on the show. Have a nice little, back and forth conversation. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel here at the GSMC Sports Network. Your super chats obviously helps us keep the lights on all these amazing sports podcasts so we can bring you guys awesome content that you love 7 days Monday through Friday. 7 days a week would be pretty cool, but we are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep this party going. Then send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And once again, if the super chat is not your thing, you can go ahead and hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that, like a subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. But when it comes to sports, criticism is part of the game. So obviously, feedback is a gift. Don't be afraid to type whatever you feel, however you feel. Give me a shout out where you're listening from inside that chat box. So this podcast could be audience engaging, and it's going to be awesome. All right, AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. Jon Moxley kicks off the show, talking about he's trying to provoke Bryan Danielson's inner dark side, which he's very uncomfortable with. So maybe Jon Moxley could ultimately, kind of take advantage of it, steer it in the way to the point where, it works out in his favor. And he said to Bryan Danielson, he was like, you know what? Hope one day you'll understand that this was the only way. This was the only. It had to happen this way. It was a little dramatic, but obviously that's what it's made for. That's what they were trying to do. Bryan Danielson then talks about Claudio Castagnoli, his comments, during an interview with Sports Illustrated, saying that he supported the guy for 20 years. This isn't, he said that match, the main event match on Title Tuesday was going to be his last match and he was going to get injured. But, obviously that wasn't the case. So, Bryan Danielson was able to kind of rub it in Claudio's face after that. Then after that, we saw Darby Allin come out to confront Brody King, come face to face before their match at Wrestle Dream, which is happening in 4 days on Saturday. Should be pretty badass. He was just talking about the history of their friendship, man. Like, Brody King got his job at AEW because of Darby Allin. Darby Allin and King spent a lot of time on the road wrestling independents, but then Darby Allin went to AEW. Brody King went to Ring of Honor, which was kind of going under before Tony Khan purchased it. And Brody King, he has a family, and Darby Allin respects that. And by all means, he wanted to be there for his friend, and that's exactly what he did. And now, he's saying, you want to replace me? I became the face of AEW, and now you just want to take my spot. Good storyline, aspect that this promo kind of went into. I feel like it was kind of cut short a little bit, and I'm not, sure if this makes sense or anything like that. But I feel like when Brody King was reacting to everything Darby Allin said, which was like a plethora of of rhetoric through like, pathos and stuff like that, just, strumming the emotional strings of the audience's heart. And then Brody King, he, talks for a little bit, and then out of nowhere, I felt like it was kind of out of nowhere. Darby Allin comes out and he's like, you know what, let's finish this right here, right now. What are you waiting for? End me now, end me now. And I was like, whoa, that escalated so quickly. Like I was literally like I was taking notes, and then like then he started shouting that, and I looked up, I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. I thought there was gonna be I thought Brody King was going to talk a little bit more, but obviously, but then Darby Allin came out, hit him with a rock, which was, kind of random, but, these guys have a prolific history of fighting each other and having it turn out really, really well. So there's no doubt in my mind that this match it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really, really great. All right, so then, like I said, bust set out into a fight. In the back, you see a promo with Jake the Snake Roberts confirming the trade with Don Callis. So now one of the members of the Don Callis family is going to be Lance Archer, which is a big deal. Lance Archer is definitely someone on Ring of Honor that I had my eye on for quite some time. I know that he's going to be a star. He's ruthless. He's dominant. He has a good ring presence. One of those things where he's able to ultimately, like, every single match isn't like necessarily like a smash match or something like that, or a squash match. It's he's able to make his opponents look good as well. Like, you know what I mean? They're losing, but they're looking good doing it. So Lance Archer is definitely up there in terms of, probably taking that next step in AEW. Then we saw a match between Hologram, who's 13-0, taking on Komander. It was a great match, but ultimately, something that Jeff Jarrett kept saying in the match was true, 1,010%. Komander did have had a lot of opportunities to put it away, but obviously couldn't capitalize on some situations. Um, but it was a great match. Hologram scaped through barely, like, in the nick of time. He scaped through with his 14. Now his record is 14-0. Was able to come out with that victory. Then Daniel Garcia came out to address the AEW universe, saying that he's going to stay in AEW, so don't you worry. He's going to rightfully take his place, in the circle of life in terms of AEW. He said he's going to be the face. He's not going to complain about losing anymore. He's not going to throw fits. He's a new and improved Daniel Garcia. He's hunting for some gold. Everybody out there who's holding the title, Will Ospreay, also, Ring of Honor as well, Mark Briscoe, all those guys, like, have to be put on notice because he's coming after you. Would be interesting. I would love to see him kind of start small. And when I say small, I don't mean like because the title's small, and I'm not trying to diminish its value in any way, shape, or form. Ring of Honor Television Championship would be perfect for him. I feel like it'd be great. It'd be a great start for Daniel Garcia, to kind of show Tony Khan that, okay, it's clear that he can be a competitor, but some people are amazing at what they do. It's kind of like, they're better chasers than they are champions. Kind of like preluding to what I was talking about, like in terms of like Liv Morgan's career, where I like Liv Morgan, but I more or less kind of like her chasing the championship than her having the belt around her waist. A lot of scrutiny, a lot of rumors and speculations, and a lot of people saying that Cody Rhodes' title run is a little boring. Obviously, I feel I have a disagreement. I disagree with it. But one of those examples as well. Great chasers, not good champions. But overall, Daniel Garcia, I feel like is landing in a great spot. I was kind of playing with the idea of Garcia. I think it was last Friday I did a show. I was playing with him coming to the WWE, kind of being like a young, cocky, in your face, kind of like a Randy Orton, a little bit. Like, he's able to dish it, he's able to throw it back. But then again, like, he's not really liked, he's not really loved. But I feel like he's going to land in a great spot. Whatever bookings that AEW decides to put him in. Obviously, he is the future of AEW. He's very young and he's very talented. So, congratulations to Daniel Garcia. Hopefully, we get a little bit more details on his contract, because right now there's not really anything out there just yet. All right, so we also got a promo that Swerve Strickland will be returning at Wrestle Dream. Should be interesting to find out if he takes up NVP's offer to join this new Hurt Syndicate and leaving Prince Nana a wayside. That would be pretty interesting. Joining Shelton Benjamin as well as Bobby Lashley, who is signed with who's still it's always obviously it is up in the air. I thought the Lucha Brothers were going to wind up in WWE sooner rather than later, but they're still on AEW. There's still wrestling matches on AEW, so I thought that was a done deal. Obviously, I don't want to go ahead and get ahead of myself and steer you guys down the wrong path or fill you guys up with professional wrestling propaganda or anything like that. So, but as of right now, it seems pretty sure that Bobby Lashley is all elite. Should be interesting to find out how these three superstars will look together. It's going to be a dominant force. Swerve Strickland, every single, you know, every single feud he's kind of got into. His feud with the Elite. You have the Young Bucks and Okada and Jack Perry. The feud with the Mogul Embassy with Brian Cage, and getting his arse kicked because he's never really had the numbers game. He's been kind of a lone wolf kind of thing once when he left the Mogul Embassy, and also Patriarchy as well. Beat him down. So this is going to be a great thing for Swerve Strickland, especially for the future and stuff like that. I feel like it's going to be cool. All right, we got a number one contenders match for the AEW World Women's Championship. We have Willow Nightingale taking on Saraya, taking on Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter. Obviously, this match was forthcoming because Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, was not feeling well. Had travel issues, was unable to come, so we didn't get to see that one-on-one match, which would have been pretty badass. I I kind of thought Britt Baker was going to pick up the W, but having an experienced wrestling veteran like Willow Nightingale take her spot to challenge Mariah May just makes it better. They're gonna have a great match. They're gonna have great promos. Willow backstage on the mic is one of my favorite wrestlers in all the wrestling, like WWE, NXT, and the women's divisions. Just what she can do on the mic and cut a promo. She's amazing at it. So they're gonna make it great. They're gonna make it great. All right. Obviously, you had Mariah May join in on commentary. She came out, she whipped Willow Nightingale, but Willow Nightingale, she got her revenge later on in a promo when she was when Mariah May was being interviewed by Renee Paquette. So I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty cool. The Learning Tree gives Rocky Romero a warning about his buddies, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, obviously, and Mark Briscoe. And Chris Jericho crossed the line, man. Crossed the line last week, dude. Like talking about Mark's deceased brother Jay and how he was a way better wrestler than Mark was. And obviously, it's not one of those things where it's like, "Hey, man, I'm proud of you, dude. Your brother would be proud of you." It was more like kind of spitting on the grave kind of thing. So, I hope Mark Briscoe kicks Chris Jericho's ass. I thought, 1,010%. I can't wait to see the match. I love Mark Briscoe. Jay White, in a squash match, defeated some guy named Cody Chun. He came out after winning. He called out Hangman Adam Page. We had Taz attacked by mystery wrestler, by mystery guy last week on Dynamite, and he's gonna have to have knee replacement surgery. Obviously, total kayfabe, like he's been needing knee surgery for quite some time. Hook's on the lookout. I thought it was kind of crazy how Kip Sabian like randomly bumped into him. I was like, all right, that's a little, maybe a little foreshadowing or what's going on in the patriarchy. Maybe some way, somehow you're having Christian Cage pulling the strings behind this whole Kip Sabian thing. Maybe perhaps it's just a hoax to to take out wrestlers and stuff like that. Obviously, this is a huge conspiracy theory, but Hook's gonna need another challenger. Like he's gonna need direction to kind of fall into. Ever since you saw that FTW World Championship be retired. So I know it's gonna be interesting to find out his next move as well. All right, next we have Will Ospreay. No, we have Mercedes Monet. Not really much of a surprise with the crossface or the bank statement, whatever you like to call it. She defeated Emi Sakura in a match, retaining her two belts. I'm once again Mercedes Monet. She wins again, and she has an undefeated streak on at Ring of Honor at AEW. So next, we have Will Ospreay addresses AEW, talking about the chaos of the Don Callis family after Konosuke Takeshita attacked him after with his match with Ricochet, and he asked Don Callis, and Don Callis confirmed that he in fact sent him. He gave Kyle Fletcher the screwdriver to hit it on his buddy, former member of the Don Callis family, Will Ospreay, who pushed Don Callis, which was funny as hell. Kyle Fletcher, he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to do it with his, with his bruv, Will Ospreay. So then he walked out, obviously conflicted, stuck in the middle. Ricochet came out for the rescue, and then we had the main event match. Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta defeats Castagnoli and Pac. After the match, you saw just a whole, just an absolute just brigade, and it was crazy because Bryan Danielson, he kind of left Yuta to fend for himself, man. Like at the same time, yeah, go chase down the guy you're trying to fight at Wrestle Dream on Saturday, but dude, kind of left Yuta all out here, on a 3-on-1 assault. That's kind of crazy. But then he came back and he helped and everything. All is good. All is good. It's all gravy, baby. But I don't know. I was a little, I was kind of a little that's great. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of messed up. All right, so guys, do not go anywhere. We talked about our AEW Dynamite's Title Tuesday. Give you guys my hot takes, my reviews about that. But don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about WWE. Where I'm going to talk about my way too early WWE Crown Jewel predictions. So hey, do not go anywhere.